Why is it that your company used to move so fast when you were 5 people, and now that you're 30 with millions in the bank, everything is so slow? Well, it's called the scale-up trap, and most CEOs try to fix it by hiring more people, which can create bottlenecks. Or they delegate everything and they're all hands off, and then the quality can dip a little. Well, there's a third option, and almost nobody is talking about it. And it's brilliant. There's a very, very small shift in your decision flow that allows you to scale really fast without the quality dip. You probably remember just after fundraising when you thought all problems are gone, right? You've got money in the bank. And then a few days, maybe weeks later, you realize that your problems have not gone at all, they have magnified. And then a few weeks in, you walk through the office and you feel a bit strange, a bit almost lonely. You walk past team members and the conversation dies. And then one time in a meeting, you make a change to the product, like you've done 1,000,000 times. But now your managers tell you to back off and, hey, you're micromanaging, and let the team handle it. And you go like, oh yeah, okay, and you've heard that you have to delegate and you don't want to be a micromanager, so you let go, and then a few weeks later the product ships and it's a bit mediocre, it could have been better. And your idea wasn't all that bad initially. So you feel a little bit like a stranger in your own company, and you feel like the team isn't your team anymore, it's not a family anymore. So most founders bounce between two extremes. Either they approve every $50 decision in every tweet and the quality is relatively high, but man, the speed is not fast enough. Or they're totally hands-off because people told them, like, you're a CEO now, you have to work on the business, not in the business, and they leave everything to the team. And then you see the product quality going down and nobody seems to care about the product as much as you do. And that is largely because your team, your first hires, were mainly passengers. You told them where to go and they were going there. But that doesn't scale. After a while, it feels like you're driving the bus from the back seat and you have like 29 people in front of you turning around asking, are we there yet? So that doesn't work. So here is the small shift that changes everything. Switch from approval to veto mode. What does that mean? In the olden days, people were waiting for your approval for major decisions, even for small decisions sometimes. So going forward, you tell the team that they can consider everything approved unless you say no. And that hard no needs to be explained by you as well. So you can't just say, no, I don't feel like it. This shade of yellow doesn't really vibe with me. That doesn't work. You have to make a business case. You need to have a strong reason why this doesn't work. Let's just say your sales manager has the brilliant idea to sell to the Ku Klux Klan and you go like, hey, no thank you. No, stop. This is not for us. Now that's a veto, right? This way your team can move really, really fast and you monitor everything and do more of quality assurance rather than being the bottleneck for every decision. In the olden days when you were sick, everything stopped, and now you bias your company towards action. Beautiful. Yeah, veto mode can feel really scary. Why? Because you might not trust your team to be in the driver's seat. If that's the case, you have a hiring problem, not a process problem. So here's how you can fix that. For every driver that you hire into your company, you're firing a passenger. And that can be really tough because those passengers are more often than not the very people that you started the business with, your early team. People who were like wearing 10 hats, fighting fires, being there at late night, in the tough times, when funding ran out. And you feel super loyal to them. But if they are very honest with themselves and if you are honest with yourself, maybe the time to part has come. And in my experience, both parties are happier if they move on. Unless this team member is able to actually grow and switch to scale-up mode, to one lane, to fast, clear decision-making, no more firefighting. But if that doesn't work, and if they're sort of dragging and jumping around and sort of shooting from the second row, questioning every decision and feel that they have a say because they were there in the early days, you should have that conversation. And that's usually where I come in as a founder. Very often, letting go of some of the early, sometimes even founding members, that's tough. And just like having a relationship counselor helps you having a neutral third party in the room, that's where the coach often, I'm not selling the coaching service, I'm just saying that it is actually a really good way to have somebody in the room to be neutral and help both parties towards a separation. And as they're often asked in relationship counseling, the very first question is, do you want to have relationship counseling or separation counseling? That's a very good question. Because sometimes employees that don't seem to really do well in the new scale-up company, they can switch. Sometimes they need a little bit of a scare and a bit of a sit down and a little bit of coaching, but they can upgrade. But sometimes they can't, and they will be much happier working in a small startup again. Because they're good people. They're just not a good fit for this phase of your business. That's one of these things that, growing up as a business, you have to grow up as a CEO and as a human being, that suddenly you have to make really, really tough decisions, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But you can learn it. And it's not cutting people, it's more optimizing the team towards success. Because if you try to keep everybody in, no matter how badly they perform, or how unhappy they are, how quietly they're revolting from the second row, it demotivates the new stars. These people are disgruntled, you are unhappy, your investors feel pretty shitty, and you might tank the whole company. So think about that. All right, I hope this was useful. I totally forgot. Like, subscribe, and please forward to somebody you think this might be useful for. Have a wonderful week, beautiful people, and I see you next time.